If you could sit down and have a conversation with your 21-year-old self, what would you say? I guess it depends how long the conversation is, but I'd probably just say fear less. So much of my life, especially in my 20s and even still now, is driven by this fear. It's driven by uncertainty. It's running away from something that you don't want is running towards something that you do. And that will push you to do lots of great things and maybe become a very impressive person. But it's not the fuel that you want to be using for a long time. So first off, I would probably say, I understand that you don't feel very recognized or very validated or very seen by the world. That's fine. That's not some personal failing of yours. That's kind of just a byproduct of being a 21-year-old guy that doesn't quite know what he wants yet and is struggling to connect with the people around him. I would say fall in love slowly and break up quickly, because much of your 20s, if you're not careful, will be spent in relationships that you should have left sooner for both of your sakes. Don't be guilty about disappointing people. Don't fear the repercussions of putting yourself first. Don't subjugate your desires in order to keep somebody else happy. Don't make yourself unhappy in order to keep somebody else happy. Buy Bitcoin and do 531. That's what I'd say. Ramo Palmo. Under what conditions do you feel the most mentally sharp and able to perform cognitive tasks? That's a good question. So I've got a pretty dialed routine now before the big episodes, which is no carbs at all. So bacon and eggs, sausage and eggs, breakfast. Minimal caffeine earlier in the day. Maybe one coffee on a morning. Go and train moderately hard, but not super hard. So RPE 7, RPE 8. Then I want to be a little bit hungry. And then I want to have probably one new tonic about an hour before and then sip on a new tonic throughout whatever it is that I'm doing. And if I get all of that in and I've got sunlight in my eyes and gone for a walk and I've been moving, I'm pretty fucking dialed. And that can hold on to that as long as I keep the new tonic levels up. I can hold on to that for probably about 4 hours. And then it starts to become psychotic after that time, because you're fighting this tension between fatigue and stimulants, but more stimulants aren't necessarily fixing the fatigue. They're just making more stimulated. Yeah. JD Fitz, do you create for yourself or for your audience? That's a good question. And unfortunately, it's probably the biggest middle finger. I create for myself. This show has always been a thinly veiled autobiography. Whatever it is that is on my mind, whatever it is that I'm dealing with, whatever it is that I'm interested in, what's happening to me professionally, personally, much of that is the inspiration. Now, not everything, obviously, but much of that is at least the beginning. It's sort of the spark of the direction that I take the show in. I fell in love with evolutionary psychology because I found it really insightful about understanding the why you are the way you are. It's really sort of seeing the source code of human behavior, at least from a sort of conditioning sense. And then obviously that gets coded into genes. That was a huge part of understanding me because I wanted to. There was a big period where I was into productivity. So I was just rinsing through every productivity guide, David Allen coming on and Tiago Forte and Peter Ackes, getting all of the big names in productivity on to help organize my Things 3 GTD process and what's the best email client I should be using. It's just for me. And I think the best, sure, there are some artists, creators out there who can make content for an audience and really enjoy the process. But for me, the more that I don't follow my own curiosity and the more that I don't make it for myself, the less I enjoy it and the less successful it is. So I genuinely think, and maybe again, this is just Stockholm syndrome, I genuinely think that the best way to serve you guys is to just follow my own curiosity, because I'm not that much of an outlier. I'm not that different. I think a lot of the challenges that I face and a lot of the interests that I have are really representative of those that any other thoughtful, sensitive person has. And that means that if I follow my instincts, some non-zero portion of other people are also interested or care about this thing that I'm thinking about. And it gives me a unique insight, because everybody has access to what the audience says. Every other creator, thinker, artist, songwriter, whatever, they all have access to what are the trends that are going on online. Everyone can see what's happening on Twitter. Everyone can ask ChatGPT what the most search terms are on Google, right? So that means that it's a very ununique body of work and not necessarily accurate. But if you follow what you do, I think that really elicits a unique fingerprint and one that absolutely resonates. And even if it doesn't, you pursued something that you found interesting. And the more that I try and reverse engineer what will click, what will resonate. Well, maybe I should be doing the Q&A. Maybe I should have someone ask me the questions on the Q&A. Or maybe the Q&A should be done live, or maybe I should be streaming on Twitch or whatever. And if it doesn't speak to me, not doing it is the best strategy, because even if it would be optimal, even if it would be better in some way for audience growth, if it doesn't speak to me, it's not going to be authentic. And there's always this tension, right? Everybody shows up. You show up differently when someone else steps into your room versus when you're on your own. So when it's audience, there's all of these perverse incentives, and trying to be 100% yourself is essentially impossible. But you can get closer and closer to that. And you can also get further and further away, and you train yourself in either direction. So for people that are wanting to create a body of work, you need to play the game. You absolutely need to play the game. There is a game to be played. There are mechanisms in place, growth loops that you need to take advantage of. So you do need to play the game, but you need to know that it's not about the game. Play it, but it's not about it. I think that's really important, and that's a strategy I'm holding on to. Did you know that your annual physical only screens for around 20 biomarkers, which leaves a lot of gaps when it comes to your understanding of your health, which is why I partnered with Function. They run lab tests twice a year that monitor over 100 biomarkers. They even screen for 50 types of cancer at stage 1. They've got a team of expert physicians that then takes that data, puts it into a simple dashboard, and gives you actionable recommendations to improve your health and lifespan. They track everything from your heart health and hormone levels to your thyroid function. Getting your blood work drawn and analyzed like this usually costs thousands, but with Function, it is only $500. And right now, you can get the exact same blood panels that I get and bypass their waitlist by going to the link in the description below or heading to functionhealth.com/modernwisdom. That's functionhealth.com/modernwisdom. Would you look at that? Clip is already over, but if you want more, don't be sad. The full episode is available right here. Go on.